Yeah, how you all doing? How you all doing? Freaking outstanding. Alright, so I'm going to go through the counselling that I had today. Alright, and then I'm going to go through what I attached to it, just so you can see the kind of like evidence kind of stuff, what's going on with the vaccines and whatnot in the world. To the counselling package, so higher ups in leadership, within the military, within the army, you can see the reasons why I declined said freaking shot. Okay, so starting off with the counselling. Alright. So, let's see, first paragraph, I'm going to go through with this, and I'm going to read the third paragraph, alright, and then I will go through the attachments. There's about 5 paragraphs, 6 paragraphs here, there'll be more on the flip side. Right, so I'm going to highlight the main points, and then I'll go on to the stuff, like I say, the stuff I attached to it. Alright, so the first one is to defend this nation, we need a healthy and ready force, after careful consultation with medical experts, yeah, right, and military leadership, and with support of the President, the Secretary of Defence has determined the mandatory vaccination against coronavirus disease 2019 is necessary to protect the force and to defend the American people. Alright, so first of all, COVID vaccines, all of them, even now, with the FDA approval, is still under emergency use authorization for the Pfizer and Comirnaty. Alright, EUA authorized only. Alright, it has to be from the President himself to sign on a mandating that all soldiers have to take the vaccine, or an experimental shot, so to speak. Alright, I've seen nothing like that, and it's only come from the SecDef himself, the General, which is not the President from last I'm tracking, which means the mandate that they pushed out is unlawful. Okay. On 23rd of August, first paragraph. On 23rd of August 2021, the SecDef directed the military departments to begin the immediate full vaccination of all members on the DoD authority on activity duty or in the ready reserve, including the National Guard, who are not fully vaccinated at COVID-19. Okay, so I'm going to read the third paragraph. This is a good one. I was informed that you refused immunisation against COVID-19. First of all, alright, I've already had COVID-19, apparently according to the fraudulent PCR test, and if that's the case, I've got T-cell immunity, which means under the army regulations, alright, I do not need to take a freaking shot. However, the generals up top are dictating, oh well, yeah, the army regs might say that, but even though you've had the virus, you're still going to get the shot either way, knowing that the shots are still experimental. It's freaking BS. Alright, I am ordering you to be immunised with fully licensed Food and Drug Administration FDA approved COVID-19 vaccination. It's not fully approved, it's only approved for EUA only. Alright. One of the things I've learned between the British Army and the US Army is that you only follow orders so long as they are moral or ethically just. This order here is immoral and unethical. They have no idea what these vaccines are freaking doing, and it shows that they do not know what these vaccines are doing with how much they are freaking pushing this shit on soldiers, fellow Americans, or if you're in a freaking allied nation, possibly fellow allied soldiers. It's BS. So that order, the officers can kiss my English ass on that shit. Failure to obey this order may result in punitive action under the Uniform Code or Military Code of Justice, or under Uniform Code of Military Justice, UCMJ, and or administrative action as deemed appropriate by the commander. So basically, it could be like fucking discharge from the military. Let's see, yeah, basically discharge from the army. It could be, and there's other things here which I'm not going to get into too much, if you know what I mean. But it gives you an option where you can initial where you're going to decide to take it instead, or refuse the order, etc, etc. I refuse the order, and I also decline and apply for religious exemption. So in the next couple of days, I will be applying for religious exemption. Alright, as my eyes have been opened up to all the vaccines since COVID-19, certificate of vaccination identification 19 kicked off. My eyes are opened up to all other vaccines now, hence why I will be pushing for religious exemption. Alright, attachments, things I've attached. Alright, attached, freaking sun's blinding, man, holy crap. Alright, don't know if you can see that. It's basically a list of stuff that I've attached to the counselling. Return remarks, points made in counselling, the Nuremberg Code 1947. Screen clip from CDC Wonderverse showing death rate from all COVID-19 vaccines. Screen clip, open VAERS red box data. My personal working out for COVID-19, basically how in August 2020, when the initial release quietly, the 6%, of people who died didn't have any underlying issues, which was a little over 12,000 people died from COVID-19 apparently. All right, that didn't have underlying issues out of the 227,000. Well, now death toll is sitting at about 636,000 dead from COVID. Well, taking that 6% into account, you're looking at about 33 and some change. All right, which is 24,000 less than people have died from the vaccines on CDC Wonderverse. Medical professionals you need to really look into. I'll give a list of that. I'll go through them in a second. FDA doc issued last month regarding emergency use authorization, not that it's been fully approved, and my personal response to counselling. I'm going to go through the personal response to counselling first, alright, and then I'll show you the rest of it. Okay, so point one. My first point to be made is that when it comes to experimental vaccines, gene therapeutics, and or any other drugs that has to be mandated on troops, an executive order by the President has to sign and issue such mandate, otherwise it is legal and void. I have only seen the SecDef mandate, so this is what I attach to my counselling for the battalion commander, Lieutenant Colonel. You mentioned that COVID-19 may be used as a bioweapon. As stated previously, it is a bioweapon, a weak one which was developed by Fauci and funded and approved by NIH, which is wipe his head off. The PCR test caused the pandemic, the shots is what will cause the issue. I am not legally required to take an experimental shot, one of the worst side effects is death. Next point. I have been an infantry soldier for 22 years, 13.5 years in the British Army and 8.5 years with the US Army. Throughout both, I was always told from my higher-ups, both on the officer side and the enlisted side, follow all orders unless immoral and or unethical. Sir, in para 3 you state that you are ordering me to take the vaccine with the knowledge I have gained by listening to those who developed the mRNA technology and doctors with decades of experience, and from the research I had done on your order, just that immoral and unethical. So basically I'm saying his order is immoral and unethical. Next point. Since COVID-19 started, I have had my eyes truly opened up to all vaccines and what goes into them, and on a religious and spiritual place I will also be seeking in the near future a religious exemption. I have served loyally with pride and dedication to my home of England and now the US Army, and will continue to do so. However, what is taking place, not just in America but on a global scale, is medical tyranny. I will not fall in line with this for my children's sake, for the future generations of Americans, and knowing that God is watching everything we do. Reminder of the first part of Oath of Enlistment. I, Staff Sergeant Wayne Smith, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from all enemies, foreign and domestic, ... So help me God. I fully respect all ranks from top to bottom, and I will carry out all orders and duties as previously done, except unethical and immoral. So that's the last point that I made. So, Nuremberg Code, the screen clip showing 60,000 deaths on CDC Wonderverse attached. Open there's red box data. The list with the 6%. Sorry if the camera's shining, I'm doing it on my phone, so I apologise. 6% of deaths from COVID-19 that didn't have any underlying issues. The FDA online freaking talk about COVID vaccines. Freaking camera, there we go. That wasn't meant to be shown, they left it in. 40 years of Fauci. I give a list of doctors that I look into and watch on a well, as all of you probably do, on a regular basis. The FDA document explaining the EUA for the shots. So I spoke to a major at one of the gyms on camp that were doing the vaccine drive, if you can call it. It's not even a freaking vaccine. That were doing the drive. It was a major. I turned around and said, "Hey sir, do you know what CDC Wonderverse is?" He was like, "No, what's that?" So I showed him. He went, "What's that?" I went, "Well, it's where you put information with people that have had vaccine adverse events." So the CDC and the government are freaking tracking on the danger of certain vaccines or what side effects they give off. They want tracking. I went to legal. They said I can go back once action is actually directed and starts taking place, if I take UCMJ action, or basically in the process of getting kicked out or anything along those lines. So basically, if anything like that starts happening, once I get my paperwork and that, I've got to go see them, and then we'll go from there. I showed the guy the captain in legal, all the stuff that I've got, and he didn't even know any about this stuff. The military, the officers, and the enlisted are freaking blind. There's only odd few good ones out there that freaking got their eyes open to it. When I got put into holding pen to get briefed again if I'm going to take the vaccine, obviously I said no. There are a few other NCOs there that stood the ground and said no. And again, I showed them what I've got, and they were all still shocked. They didn't even know about it. This is a freaking joke, man. I love serving my freaking nation, maybe England or freaking America. Alright, the oath of enlistment is a big deal to me. I've got a lot of pride in what I do. The infantry is like a wife, like a love-hate relationship. You want to leave it, but you can't because you love it that freaking much. But the infantry, like the soldiers in general, as a rule, the way things are going at the moment, they're all brainwashed little sheep who can't think for themselves, who are good little boys who follow all orders, who don't know how to free think and don't know how to critical think. I'm surprised. Well, I know why 1776 was won, and some of you are not going to like it. Well, the British Army were fighting the British colonies, the British civilians. Well, obviously when you got your independence and that. Nah, I'm only messing. Look, you got to stay true to your freaking country. You got to stay true to your freaking people, and you got to stand your freaking ground. I don't know what else to say, but when shit kicks off, I'm going to be freaking ready. And it's going to kick off. I hope it don't, but it's going to happen. Y'all have a good day. Stay safe. Peace.